Hello everyone, this is Lexicon Architect, and for today's deck tech, we're going to be looking at Gruul Dinosaurs Best of 3 in the standard format with a 58% win rate over 50 games. So let's hop into the deck tech. At mana value 1, we have Sally's Lorekeeper. It's a 1-mana 1/1 human druid that you can tap it to add 1 mana of any color, but you can only spend that mana to cast a dinosaur spell or activate an ability of a dinosaur. So turn 1, this is our best play um, because it's going to allow us to ramp into a turn 2 Pugnacious Hammer Skull. It's going to be a 6/6 dinosaur that when it attacks, if you don't control another dinosaur, you put a stun counter on it. But most of the time, once we resolve this on turn 2, turn 3, we do have a follow-up dinosaur to play, so we're able to attack with the 6/6 without worrying about having a stun counter on it. So you basically don't lose the turn by attacking it with this creature. Then we have Triumphant Chomp, a 1-mana sorcery that deals 2 damage to target creature, or the greatest power among dinosaurs you control, whichever is greater. So we could potentially have a Pugnacious Hammerskull on field, or a Bornhorde Dracosaur, and it's going to allow us to deal 5 damage. So it allows us to deal with mostly all creatures. It allows you to deal with Shieldred, which has 5 toughness. So being able to play this for 1 to blow up one of their creatures is very good. At mana value 2, we have Belligerent Yearling. It's a 3/2 with trample that whenever another dinosaur enters the battlefield under your control, you may have Belligerent Yearling base power become equal to that creature's power till the end of the turn. So let's think about this hypothetically. We play this on turn 2, and then turn 3 we follow up with a Pugnacious Hammerskull. Then we can make this a 6/2 with trample, which is crazy because we can get insane amount of damage output just by playing on this on turn 2 and then following up on turn 3. It also works well with Trumpering Carnosaur, which is a 7/6. So this creature is going to become a 7/2 with trample. So if they do block, let's say they have a 2/2, you attack with a 7/2, they're going to take 5 trample damage. Then we have Intrepid Paleontologist, a 2-mana 2/2 that adds 1 mana of any color. And then for 2 mana, you may exile target card from a graveyard. So this is good for multiple reasons because it can allow us to replay our dinosaurs or deal with reanimator decks so we can eat alive their graveyard, make sure they have no targets. One thing to keep in mind though, once if we do exile a card with this and this card does get killed, we're going to lose whatever card that's in exile. Next, we have Isquiz, it's hard to say, Isquiznith, Firstborn of Kishath, a 2-mana 2/3 with haste that when it ETBs, you may pay 2, and when you do, target dinosaur you control deals damage equal to its power to another creature, target creature. So let's think about this. We play this late game, right? We pay for 2. We already have some big dinosaurs on board. All we have to do is pay 2, and then we can attempt to blow up one of their big creatures with this mechanic on this card. At mana value 3, we have Bouncer's Beatdown. It's a 3-mana instant that costs 2 less to cast if it targets a black permanent. So if we are up against black decks, this will only become 1 mana to cast. And then it deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. And if that creature or planeswalker will die this turn, exile it instead. So let's think about it, right? Let's say we have our Pugnacious Hammerskull on field. We have this, they have a black creature. We pay 1. We'll deal 6 damage at instant speed to that creature and then exile it or planeswalker. Next, we have 1 copy of Tribute of the World Tree. It is 3 green mana, and it says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card if its power is 3 or greater. Otherwise, put 2 1/1 counters on it. At mana value 4, this is one of the best cards in the deck in Hulking Raptor. It is a 4 mana with War 2 that at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you add 2 green mana. So this card is going to allow us to ramp into our Bornhorde Dracosaur or into our Polani's Hatcher. At mana value 5, we have Bornhorde Dracosaur, flying first strike. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. If you exile a land card this way, you create a body, so you make a 3/1 dinosaur. And if you exile a non-land card, you create a treasure. So not only is this helping us ramp and make tokens, it's going to get out of hand if it stays on board for multiple turns. Like I said, because you're creating bodies and you're creating treasures, that's going to allow you to play more stuff. And then lastly, at mana value 5, we have Polani's Hatcher. Other dinosaurs you control have haste. So if something comes onto the battlefield after this, your dinosaurs will have haste. And when it ETBs, you create 2/0/1 green dinosaur egg creature tokens. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control one or more eggs, you sacrifice an egg, and then you create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token. So as soon as we play this on curve on turn 5, the latest, it's going to allow us to make us these eggs that we can sacrifice one during our combat at the beginning of our combat, and then we'll be able to swing with an additional 3 power creature. At mana value 6, we have Trumpeting Carnosaur. It has trample, and then when it ETBs, you discover 5. So the way the discover mechanic works is that you reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a card with converted mana cost 5 or less, and you may cast that card for free or put it into your hand. Also, it works as a good removal spell, as you can tap 3 to discard it and deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. And lastly, at mana value 8, we have the Skullspore Nexus. It's going to cost 1x. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. And whenever one or more non-token creatures, you control die, you create a green fungus dinosaur creature token with base power and toughness, each equal to the total power of those creatures. And then for 2 mana, you can double target creature's power until the end of the turn. So it's an 8 mana spell, but it's going to become less to cast. So most of the time when we do get to play this, it's going to either cost 3 mana or 2 mana. And then it works really well against board wipes, because if you wipe your board, you will create this token with base power and toughness equal to the total power of those creatures that were killed. For our land base, we have Carve in Our Souls. Just allows it so that our dinosaurs cannot be countered, but sometimes in the worst scenario, we do have to choose Druid on turn 1 to make sure we can ramp into our spells, but it is what it is. And then we have Restless Ridgeline. It's a very good animated land for 4 mana. It becomes a 2/4 red and green dinosaur creature till the end of the turn. It's still land. And then when it attacks another target creature, it gets +2/+0 until the end of the turn. And you also get to untap that creature. And then lastly, Sokusan Crucible of Defiance. It is a 4 mana channel that can also act as a land for us if we need it. It's going to cost 1 less to cast for each legendary creature you control. And you get to create 2 1/1 colorless spirit creature tokens, and they gain haste until the end of the turn. As far as the sideboard, we have another copy of Bouncer's Breakdown, Broken Wings to deal with artifacts, enchantments, or creatures with flying, Cosmium Confluence. You can choose 3, and you can choose the same mode more than once. You can either search your library for a cave card. So I'm not sure if we do have caves, but I don't think we do. But we can use it to destroy enchantments. So if we do pay this for 5, we can destroy 3 enchantments with it, if I believe so. Then we have End of Festivities, just to deal with small weenie boards, because it deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. Then we have another copy of the Firstborn of Gishath. Then we have 3 copies of Lithomantic Barrage. One red, the spell cannot be countered, and it deals 1 damage to target creature or planeswalker. And if it is white or blue, it will deal 5 damage instead. Then we have a copy of Rampaging Raptor, 4 mana, Trample Haste, that we can pay 3 to give it +2/+0. And then whenever it deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target planeswalker that player controls or battle that player protects. And then lastly, we have 1 last copy of Trumpeting Connoisseur. So I've been having great success with this deck on Arena. I just hit Diamond a few minutes before recording this video. So I will also upload that gameplay video and then include the link in this video so you can look at some gameplay. I do have my webcam off because I was a little bit tired this morning. I didn't want to look like a zombie on screen. So if you don't mind me not really talking too much and you just want to see gameplay, go ahead and check that video out, and you have a good day.